Namaste, hearty. Welcome to yet another 40 tax session with another tax titan. Yes, please do like, please do share the link. So, hearty welcome, to today's 40, the Tax Titans Talk, a leadership series that's planned by iLead Tax Academy, where we bring, industry leaders who are shaping the future of accounting, tax, finance, and global business. And in today's episode, it is such a joy for me to host Mr. Krishnan Ramachandran, a chartered accountant with 27 years of global experience, currently serving as Senior Vice President and CFO for Asia Pacific and then US regions. Yes, please do, share the link. Please do share the link. Yeah, hold your questions, until the end. So, Mr. Krishnan has led IPO and SEBI prospectus filings, SAP to Workday ERP transformation, mergers and acquisitions, 3 companies in 3 years. We will know how he did that. Global controllership and finance automation, large multi-country finance teams across India, Asia Pacific, and the US. And today, like students who are waiting, as to what you will learn in this episode, before you do that, I want you to say, watch the live session completely. Watch the live session completely. Share the link, with your family, friends, and colleagues. If they are interested in a tax, accounting, or a payroll industry, have a pen and paper handy. Hold your questions until the end. So don't keep typing the questions, because most of the questions, I think, we will be covering it. But in case anything that is not covered, you can definitely, ping in the comment section. And don't miss learning, from these tax titans. So when I say tax, TAX, tax accounting experts, okay? Every successful tax titan that we interview here had a teacher who explained them in their career, a coach who corrected them, and a leader who always challenged them. So get excited for today's tax titan, at the 4T, the tax titan start. So what you will learn in this episode. So this is what, I have highlighted. So one is how accounting careers evolve into CFO leadership roles. Many people, want to have those CXO designations, like CEO, CFO, CMO, whatever, like, because we are dealing with finance. So how an accounting or a tax career can evolve into CFO leadership role is something, that we will be learning. Then why the world, is facing a massive accounting talent shortage. Just a second. Next is how AI and automation are transforming finance functions. Next, SAP versus Workday. Lessons from real ERP transformation. Skills students need to stay relevant in the next 10 to 15 years. Then advice for CAs, CPAs, CMAs, EAs, and IFRS aspirants also. Next, how India can become a global finance talent hub. And then leadership, discipline, work-life balance, and health habits at the top. Okay. So if you are an accounting and finance student, if you're a CA, CPA, CMA, or EA aspirant, if you're a working professional in accounting and tax industry, if you're somebody who is aspiring CFO or a finance leader, an entrepreneur or a business owner, anyone who is curious about the future of accounting, taxes, and AI, this show is for you. For more information about iLead Tax Academy, please visit our website ileadtaxacademy.in, or go to our YouTube channel also for more such interesting video. So at the 4T Titan Tax Titans Talk, we feature CFOs, CPAs, tax partners, global controllers, and industry leaders sharing real journeys and real insights which you are not learning from the books. So in case you want to nominate the next tax titan to us, please email asknanda@ileadtax.com, or you can also WhatsApp me uh, on the number that you see below, and we will be happy to interview them also. Okay, so without further delay, let me have the privilege of inviting Mr. Krishnan Ramachandran. Okay, so that's Mr. Krishnan Ramachandran with us. Sir, thank you so very much for joining us. For today's 40 session. So I've given a brief intro about yourself, but again, it's good to hear from you directly. So can you briefly share, your 27-year journey in accounting and finance industry, sir?
Sure. Thank you for having me in the show, Nanda. Basically, I am a chartered accountant, and right from the early stage, I've been into setting up the finance team, finance department. Joined small companies immediately. I mean, after the articleship that goes through with the chartered accountancy. I started off with a very small company. In fact, I had started early when I was graduating in a cooperative bank.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually laid down the foundation, and then eventually the articleship added more value to it. And then when I started my journey, I started in a small company, but handling end-to-end finance. And gradually, then came on to experience companies like HCL, WNS, Maersk, Scient, etc. So what happened was I could lay hands on every single aspect of finance without actually sticking to one ground, say taxation or investor relation or FP&A. I covered the entire gamut uh, all through. So that is how uh, I love being a generalist, but yet a specialist when it comes to each area. And all through, each thing that you take up, you assume that that's your core. But as the change keeps coming, be part of the change, accept those changes, and that is what has taken me to this growth journey in the last 27 years.
Wonderful years. Wonderful. So much to learn from you. So, what were the key turning points that shaped you from an accountant into a global CFO? As a chartered accountant, there are so many chartered accountants you must have seen, and many would have told you, that they want to be like you or get into a role like you. So, please tell us, some key turning points that shaped you from an accountant into a global CFO.
So, a couple of things. One is as you keep getting global roles, you obviously start partnering with other teams and other departments. So, what happens is there is a mind shift from just being an accountant to becoming a partner. And then you start slowly thinking more from a owner's perspective rather than an accountant's perspective. So that is what helps you grow from an accountant mindset into a CEO mindset. So that is number one. Number two, if you see in this entire era, we had a lot of progress in technology. Right, earlier there used to be
Absolutely.
you had first of all you never had phones, and then you had phones coming in, but then you had to book trunk calls to make long distance calls.
True.
And then came the STD booth and those era, and then eventually today we are into an era where there is mobile, and the same changes in technology is witnessed across. It's there in computers today, from and the same apprehensions were also there then. What happens if computers come in, will it kill my job? All of those apprehensions that we see today in the AI world were also there in those era.
Yeah.
So the point that, I mean, the best part was I was always being coached to adapt the change and also learn with the changes. So that was another significant turning point, where today I encourage my team also to shift from the manual way of doing things to an automated way of doing things, building data lakes, building AI over that, getting more meaningful insights, spending time in analyzing data rather than preparing data. So those are the changes that shaped my journey across all these years.
That's true, sir. I mean, taking ownership and then evolving with the technology is definitely something, that every generation has to learn. So earlier, as you said, computers were a threat. But again, people who learned computers preserved their jobs, they got into a better position. Now, people consider AI as a threat. So I think, that is something that people have to leverage. So somebody like you at, 27 years of experience is leveraging AI. I think somebody who is under 27 years old should definitely, learn a lot from AI. So, which phase of your career taught you the most, sir? You worked in so many companies. So, which phase of your career taught you the most?
WNS. WNS, I did work under Mr. Alok Misra, Madam Vibha Padalkar.
Yeah.
Alok was highly tech savvy. He always instilled this tech savvy approach in whatever you do. So
Mm.
he was my inspiration. In fact, I changed about 5 roles in 7 years
Ah,
because I could deliver in every role. I could deliver very fast, and then move on. But I think uh, the tech savvy approach, and that was a huge transformational uh, change as well. In fact, I could adopt some of those in the journey forward in Maersk, Scient, etc. So, and the same with HGS and Sagility, where I'm currently working. So, I think WNS transformed both my approach, my thought, and the overall personality that I'm.
good that you are acknowledging your past leaders. So, we are living in a generation where they don't acknowledge the current leaders. What do
No,
you
no, no.
have
I
to?
always have been
Ah,
lucky to get good leaders. In fact, I shared a very, very friendly relationship with my boss.
hmm.
Uh, I mean, we never, he never treated me like a subordinate.
Ah,
We always interacted more like friends, took ideas with each other. So his name is Srinivasan SD.
what-
Same with all of my earlier bosses, Kumar Subramaniam, Alok Misra, Sundararajan Sampath. I had a great relationship with all of them.
that's awesome, sir. Because I see some people, even removing the company names, from the from their CV once they reach a better company. So, more to learn from you, sir. Now, you led a SEBI prospectus filing in record time. So, what did that experience teach you about finance leadership?
So that was more to do with how agile one has to be. We had to do multiple stuff during that period
Hmm.
because earlier we assumed that, I mean, our structure was such that it probably did not suit the structure for a to change all of them. We had internal reporting in USD. We had to bring it to INR to make it happen here. Then the appointment of all those project managers, BRLMs. We had a new board. Many committees were constituted. So the one learning, if you ask, in this entire journey was how to be agile, how to be committed, how to be very sharp if you really need something. And we had a lot of uncertainties. We filed our DRHP. We were waiting for the SEBI approval. The SEBI approval took time. And as soon as the approval came in for the DRHP, we had to file the RHP. There were a lot of questions from SEBI that we had to answer. We had to decide on so many things. For example, what could be our KPI
Hmm.
from an external reporting perspective? We had to learn a lot from the industry practices, so that we also adopt the best practices. So I think there were a lot of learning, starting with the requirements coming in for a listing in India,
Mhm.
to how do we adopt them in a very short time. I think we had a great finance team who also supported. We had a lot of external professional teams who supported very well, and that led to a lot of new relationships. So apart from getting the company listed, in that journey we made a lot of friends along the way.
You are a chartered accountant, and I see you hold a diploma in IFRS also. So, I mean, working in Asia Pacific and then USA regions also. So, have you learned more from education or from leadership or experience?
It's all put together. See, the uh, degree that you get is just an exposure, and just to sort of give you an opportunity to sharpen your brain in understanding something. So today, for example, there are a lot of new stuff that is coming up, right?
Yeah.
There is a change in the labor code. There is a change in data privacy act. I have never learned data privacy when I was learning for chartered accountancy.
Mhm.
But the ability to understand, read, interpret comes from the fact that we have been exposed to those kind of extensive interpretation of laws when you read them. So I always used to tell my juniors that when you want to study something, especially like a Companies Act or an Income Tax Act,
Mm.
etc., always learn by assuming there is one particular section that is missing.
Mm.
What would that lead to?
Mm.
Right? So people can either misuse that or they can misinterpret that. So every section in every act is very, very relevant. You remove that and study, and then see if this were not there, what could be the impact. You learn that better. Now the art of interpreting those is what is today helping me in analyze when there is a new act that is introduced. I again study with the same approach. So the ability to interpret and so experience then comes when you start applying what you learned. And overall, I think the learnings plus the experience is what shapes up the career.
Great, sir. You migrated from SAP to Workday in just 6 months. So, what made the transformation successful? Because people struggle
So
today adapt to new technologies or new environments. So, what made you possible?
it's not about the transformation from SAP to Workday. That was a given. That was an organization decision,
No.
because we were migrating to Workday as an HRMS. It only made sense that we migrate finance as well, so that you have an integrated approach when it comes to the overall reporting. It only makes it easy. Uh, but what made it interesting is the migration at a short time, for which we all got prepared mentally. There was a project team, and then our teams were dedicated enough to get those forms and formats. And the strategy itself was to do it in a record time. Because if you don't do it within a record time, then it can sort of create other problems for us. Because so that was one. Second is we created that infrastructure. The HRMS had taken some time to go live, so that experience also taught us how we should sort of be careful. And we covered it with a 360-degree approach, and that is what helped us achieve this within 6 months.
Tell us something about Workday, sir.
See, Workday is a ERP with a lot of modern capabilities.
Mhm.
But the key thing is you need to uh, configure it properly and ensure that the capabilities are utilized. Workday still needs a little more. preparation for the Indian market. I would let me admit that candidly. It needs a little more readiness for the Indian market, especially on some of the governance and compliance side. But I guess they have other capabilities that bring in intelligence to the whole database. The reporting dashboards are very good. It's a lean structure. So what they do is, instead of having a whole lot of general ledger accounts, you have little general ledger accounts and more of work tags. So the work tags allow you to get the reporting in all kinds of dimension. So that is about work.
What kind of HRMS, I mean, something similar to Workday, do you like in India, to be implemented? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are also watching. What kind
No,
of.
I think Workday HRMS is very good when you compare to others.
Okay.
I mean, this is my experience. Of course, there are others, like, I mean, other SFECs there for people who are on SAP.
Hmm.
So I guess one should first of all check the feasibility of what integrates the best with whatever ERP they have. If they're planning afresh, obviously, then Workday as an HRMS is the best.
Okay. Okay. And somebody, who has been, so early in the industry. So, what do you think that how has automation and AI changed the role of finance leaders today?
See, it is AI is very much abused in today's world. Uh, it's sort of a uh, it's a tip of the iceberg
Hmm.
today,
Hmm.
right? If you see the AI journey that today we are seeing is something that has suddenly rushed up over the last 8 months to a year. Prior to that, while the Copilot existed, people did not. The buzzword was not so much about using Copilot or Chat GPT, but today it's a component in every organization, right? So the role of finance, obviously, the low hanging jobs will go away. Uh, the biggest challenge in the finance world is data.
Hmm.
What we need to bear is, unless the data is structured, no rule based engine will work on that. And AI is nothing but a rule based engine. So the struggle today and where humans are needed is to structure the data. Now, that also people are trying to build AI on that using machine learning, etc. But to me, unless that is fixed, AI cannot by itself operate. So once that is done, then you have a lot of those manual efforts being put in by the finance team to arrive at answers for intelligent business decisions. Those things will be taken care by AI.
Hmm.
As an example, if you have a data lake that talks to many upstream systems or tools and downstream systems and tools, the drivers behind every business decision, if that is into a database and can be mapped through a common structure, which is like a cost center in the finance language, right? So everything that you do when you hire somebody, your hiring engine is again cost center based. Your budgets are cost center based. The hiring engine then tracks the work performed by people. That is again cost center based. The financial data is cost center based. When all of this come into a single data lake and then you put AI on top of it, you can then do a prompt engineering to figure out a lot of business insights on variance analysis. Why has my performance in the current month different than the previous month or the previous period? The AI can be trained to give you intelligent answers that you need not break your head upon. It will be more accurate, it will be more faster,
Hmm.
and it will also help you derive a lot of insights. Similarly, low hanging fruits like a bank reconciliation,
Hmm.
right? Where you your data and the bank's data is matched. Those things can be taken up by AI, where you don't have to sit and break your head.
Hmm.
But the key job of being an enterprise value creator or a partner to the CEO,
Hmm.
that will not go away. That will remain, and you need a team who will also help you with those kind of insights, because the CFO himself cannot sit and do all of that. He'll need a team. So AI will become one of those team members, if I were to say,
Hmm.
and join the other team members in helping a faster turnaround to whatever is needed.
Good. I think this answer kind of clarifies the fear that today accountants or tax professionals have, that AI might create unemployment or underemployment. So because I keep talking to a lot of students also, they say, sir, AI will come. Yeah, I'm not saying unemployment, but underemployment may happen. People may hire us for less pay, or less people may be deployed, and things like that. So what do you think about that, sir?
See, today there are a lot of startup ecosystems, and there is a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies across.
Hmm.
And it's up to people to decide what they want to do. Opportunities are plenty.
Hmm.
The question is, you can choose to fear, you can choose to overcome fear, but that is in your hands, right?
Yep.
The moment you start finding opportunities to become more of a value creator, who can uh, have the technical grounding, but at the same time uh, take that as a enabler and be a value creator to business. And this is there in every line,
Hmm.
because you have to be a strategist at the end of the day. And there are a lot of, as much as there are laws, so many loopholes are also there.
Hmm.
Now you can look at loopholes either from a deceit perspective or from strategizing perspective. I would always encourage that people should never ever think of anything unethical. At the same time, if there are opportunities that can enable and help business, one should do it. There are a lot of incentives, tax incentives, as an example.
Mhm.
Unless somebody knows about those, one cannot utilize it. So, those kind of insights is what AI will give, and to make use of them and then progress for the benefit of the organization as well as one's own capability. Once that kind of a mindset is there, I don't think you need to fear AI or unemployment or underemployment.
Okay. But even before AI, there has been a talk of massive global shortage of accountants. So, as a CFO, can you throw some light on that? Like, what's really happening across the globe? I mean, why there is so hue and cry, about shortage of accountants? People don't like accounting, or what is that?
No, so basically, see, there are a lot of entry level pipeline issues,
Hmm.
right? There is a declining enrollment, attrition is high, regulatory complexities are there, digital transformation is there.
Hmm.
I think these tend to create the fear that you just said as to
Hmm.
what will happen to uh, the finance field by itself, and that seems to be giving the uh, giving this tendency to have the shortage, and there is a real shortage. So across globe, if you see, there is a real shortage.
Why do you think? I mean, there is less number of youth today, choosing accounting as a career. Still, people are running behind medicine or science. Accounting is
So
also science, in fact. So,
absolutely, absolutely. So if you look at the finance world today, um, the cream of the finance lies in private equity, the analysts, and so on and so forth. Because That is more strategic, right? You invest in business, you form your own strategy, and then you decide to exit within a definite period. So that is the cream of finance. And then comes the next level is those of CFOs, and then comes those low hanging stuff. As people progress, they see the accountant's job, like, earlier we used to write ledgers. The same thing, you're doing it through computers or ERP, but the job of posting invoices and then reconciling them, up cash application, a payment application, bank reconciliation, all this remains, and they are all transaction. Whereas if you look at medicine or engineering and all of that, it's a little high end. So people who are sharp uh, with that kind of a passion tend to go towards engineering or medicine. But nevertheless, even in the field of accounting, we do have people who come in. But as I said, the shortage is something which we'll face over a period of time, and that is where technology will help. Once you start eliminating the fundamental stuff using technology, I guess the shortage can be managed.
That's why we also make an effort to bring leaders like you, so that they can draw some inspiration to get into these kind of careers also, sir. Yeah, thank you
Absolutely.
for getting that. Now, what skills do you think students should focus on right now to stay relevant, in this particular industry for the next 10 to 15 years? I mean, not just getting a job, because definitely, once you are qualified, you will never be unemployed. But how to stay important, how to be a leader's person, that reliable person, boss ka right hand types. CFOs are that. So, so what skills do you think that they should have, so that they can work, closely with the founders or the CEOs? What is
There is a general tendency. So first and foremost, see, 10 to 15 years is a very, very long period. I think I will not talk about 10 to 15 years. People should, because the skill sets that you need to stay relevant changes every 2 years.
Mm,
So I don't think you can talk of something that you will build over the next, forget about 10, 15 years, even 5 years. 5 years is too long.
mm,
But one of the key things
mm,
that one has to accept is accept whatever comes your way. People tend to run after money. Don't do that. You accept whatever comes your way. That is point number one. Point number two, come what may,
mm.
be honest and be ethical.
Yep.
Third, be committed. Because what do people want? I mean, boss is only a reference point. But if you look at an organization, you have cross functional teams, you have external people, you have vendors, you have your employees. So it's a whole lot of interactions that you have who actually depend on your decision,
Mm,
right? So if I have a casual approach instead of a committed approach, then obviously things will start falling apart. So to build that trust, you need that commitment. Anybody who thinks of you in mind should feel that yes, if I go to this person, I'll get a solution.
mm,
So you have to be a solution architect, right? And there will be a lot of challenges because of various practices. But if you are committed enough to navigate through that and suggest, and there is one more important aspect in the whole thing,
mm,
uh, and that is where people tend to get uh, demotivated, if I were to say.
mm,
If I make a suggestion,
mm,
right? I mean, there is a group of people who, let's say, have approached me.
mm,
I have analyzed the problem and I'm giving a solution. While I give a solution, let's assume that there is somebody from within the same group who suddenly gets another idea.
mhm,
And let's assume that the whole group goes with that idea.
mm,
I shouldn't feel bad about it. I should learn the art of appreciating that.
mm,
In a different way, I can't get egoistic because I had an idea which probably was subtly rejected in a way. Now, these kind of rejections happen at every stage in every in every discussion.
Mm.
But if those rejections start troubling you,
Mhm.
then obviously your motivation levels are down. That shouldn't happen. So you should be impartial. You should be passionate about what you do, but not that you carry it too much to such an extent that you allow the same act to demotivate you.
Mm.
So that is another important skill set that people have to learn. Have a balanced approach. One knows their own level of intelligence, commitment, etc. That should boost your confidence.
Mm.
Being confident is important.
Good, good. As a CFO, how do you hold the accounting team accountable?
That's not very difficult. See, first of
your
all,
your
accounting.
own team, how do you hold them accountable?
Yeah. So we create leaders within the team, right? And leaders become accountable for what they do.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at, you touched upon accounting. Accounting is more transactional, right? And it's all divided within the finance world. You have in our business, the employee cost is the most important. So we have 45,000 employees across globe. So payroll and payroll accounting becomes very important.
Yeah.
And then you've got vendor accounting, you've got customers, revenue accounting,
Mm.
and then you've got a general accounting, which is all governed by a framework under Ind AS or IFRS, etc. So you already have a framework, you already have an ERP.
Mm.
You have a lot of monitoring mechanisms. For example, if I were to look at my revenue, my head of revenue has to ensure that invoicing is completed on time, and accounting per se is automated, right? So nobody sits and passes a journal entry. It's automatically pre-configured.
Mm.
The treatment is the same.
Mm.
Similarly, when I book a vendor invoice, I book the vendor invoice, the accounting, underlying accounting is taken care by the ERP.
Mm.
So my monitoring mechanism becomes what is my uh, accrual aging, as an example. So if I have too much of an accrual aging, I know invoices are not accounted. I would investigate whether I have not received the invoices from the vendors, or is it lying somewhere in the system,
Mm.
right? We have also put in discipline to say that any invoice which is more than a month old will need a CFO approval. So, and then we have automated all of that through workflow. So those kind of a discipline plus these kind of workflows and uh, regular review mechanism, there are a lot of intelligent reports that you can generate. We have created a unique report which is nowhere in the industry actually, and I have crafted that report for our team.
Mm.
So what it does is, for every department and every vendor, right? It tells you uh, whether the invoice has come, whether it is a prepaid transaction, whether you are given an advance, or whether it is uh, a regular vendor, or whether it is a one-time vendor. It gives the entire 360 degree of all the vendors across globe in a single view.
Mm.
That kind of a dashboard is then reviewed to see which vendor payment is not yet made, and we have very rigorous policies to say we'll pay all our vendors within time, but after the due date. So we'll consume the credit period, but we will honor within the timeline. The same thing goes when there is an advance. The advance has to be liquidated within the agreed timelines with the vendor, and that is again monitored. The advances are monitored in terms of number of days, the payables are monitored in terms of number of days, the collections are monitored in terms of number of days. And then your accrual accounting is a lot more scientific. You know why a vendor is not paying you on time. There are regular touch points with the vendors. We voluntarily reach out to them, asking them for a balance confirmation or their statement of account, etc. So the entire mechanism is well oiled. There is a governance and there is a regular review. So accounting per se is not a challenge, but there will be definitely genuine business reasons for delays, and those are monitored very closely so that it becomes a lot more meaningful without wasting too much of everybody's time.
Good. Many CEOs today, they are talking about this 80 hours, 90 hours work week and all. So, from your experience as a global CFO, what's your perspective on long working hours, versus sustainable performance? And also, people want a hybrid working model today, work from home, work from office, and things like that. So, what's your say on that? I mean,
See, long work hours cannot be predefined. At the same time, you can never say no. So it has to be requirement based. Today, if I have a deliverable, if I plan it well, then I don't need long working hours, right? I know my income tax returns due date is 30th of November,
mm,
and my financials get finalized, let's say, by the end of April for financial year, let's say April to March. By the following April end, my financials are audited and presented to the board, right? If my income tax filing due date is only November, I have so many months in between. I also have a mechanism of paying periodic advance tax when I assess periodically, right? Why would I wait till 15th of November to start my job?
mm,
If you start your job on 15th of November, it's long working hours. But if I prepare, it's the same like students preparing for their exams. I mean, you have the whole year with you. If you start preparing well in advance
mm,
and concentrate on what you do with a definite outcome within the timelines, you don't need to put in long hours.
mm.
But those who start in the last minute obviously will, if they have to pass the exam, they have to put in long hours because they have wasted the time that they already had. So I would say preparation, utilization of opportunities, technology, and a very well prepared approach will not need you to put in long hours. There are certain activities, and they are not regular, they are one off. For example, soon after your board meeting, you need to file your results with the exchanges. Now, if the board meeting itself, because today we are all across globe,
Yep.
so there could be directors sitting in the US attending a board meeting, and obviously to meet their timelines, the board meetings may happen only at 8 p.m. in the evening.
Mm,
So obviously the finance team, the secretarial team may have to sit that particular day to ensure compliance. But that is not a regular thing, because rest of the activities you would have planned it much ahead and you are well prepared. So there is no question of the long working hours on a very regular basis. But then the question is it there? Answer is yes, it is. On the hybrid model, again, it depends on what the requirement is. For example, in our case, we do work very much within client, on the client systems and within the client framework. So if those kind of frameworks exist, obviously the tendency would be to work from office. But there are certain clients who are willing to facilitate the technology infrastructure to suit a work from home, and we have adopted those. So there is a work from home and work from office. It also depends how psychologically it is impacted, because even before the pandemic, we tried doing a small experiment with work from home.
mm.
When I sent out a couple of my teammates to work from home, their parents panicked. They thought that this is the way out. Of course, and soon after the pandemic came in, and then that became the routine. So there are a lot of such stuff, but I guess mix and match is what is needed. You obviously need to interact with people. You need to, the human element cannot be negated, but at the same time, if you need a focused approach, many times work from home helps.
So when you said parents panicked, so did work from home increase the productivity or affect it?
No, no, it increased the productivity. That is
Ah,
fine. But there was a panic around, right? So if
mm.
you start doing something, I'm talking about 2019.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously, work from home was not a very regular concept, right? In fact, I remember visiting one of my wife's classmate who told me that we work from home, and I was surprised. How is it that this guy is saying? I mean, the first thing that clicks is he just making up because he's jobless. But then
Huh.
eventually I learned, and today most of the time I work from home. And I don't know what people think when I tell them that I uh, seldom go to office and mostly work from home. So many must be thinking, "Oh, this guy is jobless," right? I mean, that ratio of fear versus you know reality, understanding the reality. I mean, understanding the reality has gone up significantly. People do understand, but then there are some pockets of people who are not exposed too much into this, also thinking that okay, work from home also exists.
Maybe you have started working from home after 20 years of your contribution to the industry. Now
That's
today,
right.
people want to work from home, as a fresher also. I mean,
That's right.
we
That's
want
right.
to place candidates. They say, "Sir, we don't want to move," and also, we want to have work from home. So, what is your say to those people? You know,
See, I would sorry, I would encourage a hybrid model. The reason is it. See, today we are also talking about um, protecting the environment and all of those, the green revolution. Uh, so obviously, when you think on those lines, I would encourage, especially where people have to travel too much of a distance, and you want to contribute in lesser carbon emission, etc. Work from home is the best. It also ensures very good work-life balance. You spending more time with your near and dear ones, but that has to be ethically and properly utilized. One has to have, like I said earlier, the commitment has to be there.
yeah.
If the commitment is missing, then the work from home will tend to make you lazy, and eventually you will see the sadder part of that practice. The other thing is, at the same time, you also need to build your connects
Mm.
with your team. And today, no more working in silos will help. It's a cross-functional world, and it's not only within your organization; it is across organizations. It is not only in your country; it is across globe. So the art of getting that exposure to global teams and global cultures, and also the teams across organization, will need you to be in touch with your team and other stakeholders. So a hybrid model is what I would highly recommend.
Okay. Today, as a CFO or even people who are CXOs and all, they attend a lot of meetings and receive a lot of information. So, how do you personally remember, all these points and ensure, nothing falls through the cracks?
I mean, it's a practice, right? Information is the only thing. As I said, we have seen a sea change in everything, whether it is, computers, mobile technology, infrastructure. You never had metros earlier. Now you have metros. I'm talking about the metro railway, metro rail, right? Today, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, everywhere you see, earlier it was only Calcutta that had the underground metro, and people used to go to Calcutta to experience that. But today it is there everywhere, right? So the point I'm trying to, similarly, your highways and all of that, the infrastructure itself has seen a sea change,
Hmm.
and all of this is coming with enhanced law, enhanced knowledge, enhanced collaboration. So when you're going through that journey, you learn a lot. You learn new things almost every day, and obviously, when you connect with people, Even for example in the AI, today people are talking, the word AI that we experience is artificial narrow intelligence, and there is something called artificial general intelligence which is coming our way.
Mm.
So when you learn about all of this, obviously you tend to uh, get curious about it, and as much curious you become, you tend to explore that and learn about it more, and then you want to experience it by yourself. Once you experience by yourself, you know the touch points, so whether to articulate that or practice that becomes a lot more easy. So I think, again, I come back to my earlier point, one has to be committed. You have to have that passion to learn and grow along with uh, the moving improvements that is happening around us.
Absolutely. I keep saying that always. Love our life. Commitment matters. It shows
Now,
up.
change is the only thing that is permanent, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you think about the certifications or licenses? Like we teach this at iLead Tax Academy, and you must have studied so many things. So, how important are these licenses and certifications?
See, as I said, these are all your gateways.
Gateways, right?
Gateways to develop the skill set of reading, understanding, and also know the law of your land,
Yeah.
right? Know the uh, framework in which you have to operate.
Yeah.
For example, earlier you had Indian accounting standards, and today you have Ind AS, which is all derived from IFRS.
Yeah.
So when I studied CA, I never had IFRS, I never had Ind AS. But the ability to draw things within the Indian accounting standards eventually helped me in grasping the provisions of IFRS or the framework behind IFRS. And today, when I discuss things or interpret things, I'm able to appreciate the point of view being made by our auditors, or I'm able to guide our team members using the same framework. The ability to do all of this is what these courses are all about. It also increases a lot of insight that you get on the day-to-day basis. Your income tax act itself has changed,
Mm.
right? Companies act has changed,
Yeah.
but your ability to read them, interpret them, that remains. That is because we did some of these professional courses.
Mm.
If you ask a non-professional to do the same thing, they'll find it very, very difficult. They'll find it difficult to understand terms like quid pro quo. It's a legal term. uh, I don't get afraid with these words, but to them, people who are not used to it obviously will suddenly be taken aback. And what happens is that then gives a heaviness to the mind to pursue that further. But people who have undergone these kind of certifications find it easy to interpret, easy to analyze, easy to understand. They also develop the explorable capability. So the drive for you to understand more, interpret more, seek examples. So today, when I come across a particular legal situation or a tax demand, I also find out what are the precedent case laws. The tendency for me to go and refer to those kind of case laws or stay updated with a lot of newsletters, all of that comes from the basic infrastructure, which is my education. If probably I wouldn't have had the CA degree, I wouldn't have probably developed that kind of a mindset. So education is just to give you that gateway, but using that gateway, one has to keep upskilling periodically so that it becomes easy for them. And eventually, why do you do all of this? To
Mm.
create value, right? So become when you create value, you become a very good business leader, and obviously grow your organization. At the end of the day, the organization is there to grow, and you become a valued partner. So certification is just an entry point, not the destination.
Absolutely. Sir, with so much education, experience, connections, and all, at any point in your career, did you ever feel the urge to start something of your own? How did you think through that decision?
See, starting something of your own has got two parts. One is um, what kind of meaningful delivery that you can do. Uh, you know, it's not just about making money, it's about contributing something to the world. Um, and I haven't thought of doing something of my own, but I've been wanting to help a lot of people, entrepreneurs who want my help in shaping up whatever they are up to, and really contributing towards their achievements.
That's nice. I mean, how do you, I mean, in your leadership role, how have you dealt with people who have missed the deadlines or the compliance or reporting? So, did you ever feel you were harsh on them, or that was demanded, from your leadership role to execute that discipline? Because sometimes,
So
CXOs may be hard or harsh on their team, especially, CFOs, when the budgets are not met. So, have there been, any instances like that?
okay, so there are two parts. One is, if a deadline is missed, who is to blame? Is it the team? To me, no, because did you monitor the team? Now, today, why is it that you came to know that the team has missed their deadline? That means you didn't plan well, you didn't guide them well, you didn't have a proper review mechanism. So, the first one to be blamed is yourself,
True.
right? Having said that, just by shouting at the team, you're not going to get back your deadline. So, the next immediate course is to figure out how do we remediate this,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to do the remediation. Then comes the third step, to evaluate the capability of your team. So I should be candid, I have been harsh with team members, but not, raising voice, etc., but taking firm action. If there is a, uh, bad leaf in the team, that bad leaf has to be eliminated. But that elimination has to come with proper counseling, giving adequate time,
Mm.
but be firm. I mean, there are no two ways about it. But missing a deadline by itself, uh, if it has happened, I think I would immediately think about remediating that with a minimal damage, rather than getting harsh and wild with the team. But stern actions will be taken.
Okay. I'm talking about you or people in your role. As a leader, you have told them everything, be it their its commitments or whatsoever, and they say they forgot. So, how do you
Yeah,
deal with
so Nanda, when they forget, I don't forget, right?
how
They
do
may
you deal
forget,
with
I
such
don't forget.
answers? How do you deal with such answers when they say I
No,
forgot?
no, no, I don't give an opportunity to for them to answer that I forgot. Why will they say I forgot? I'll ask them.
Hmm.
So my mechanism is to bring in people who drive, and then if that becomes a constant answer, then show them the way out. That is all. If there is a cook who regularly forgets to put salt, why would you engage him at all?
True.
You will ask him to get out, right? But
Yeah.
you will obviously check when you know that there is a tendency to miss putting salt. Periodically, you will keep checking, right? Now, it could also happen that the guy, because you asked him, he puts more salt. That also doesn't help, right? So you'll have to balance your own monitoring mechanism in a way where things are delivered on a timely basis. Provide the infrastructure, right? There are a lot of ways you can provide infrastructure. You can engage consultants. If your team doesn't do something, probably they don't know. So you guide them to help them. Constantly, you engage, professional firms or other infrastructure. And once they have learned, then you don't need the third party help. You can leave them independent, and then you can have your monitoring mechanism so that things don't fail.
True, true. Because this happened with me, recently. Because in US and all, filing the annual report, the franchise tax report, and all is important. And I told them specifically
Correct.
the September 15th deadlines and October 15th deadline. And I asked one of my team members, why did you miss that? We know this. We know this, that this is the deadline. And that's when, the extension season ends. And the answer I got was, sir, I forgot. So,
No, so Nanda, I actually get a little deeper into it. It's not about just the deadline, right? So, for example, when my head of taxation also deals with all of this,
yeah.
I just don't stop by asking, uh, when is the deadline? Are you filing? No, I go one step deeper.
Mm.
Show me what is it that you're doing. What are your activities? Show
Yeah.
me your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And are you, the first set of few activities that you had to perform? Have you already performed them, or is there a delay in that? How will that impact your overall deadline?
Mm.
Okay, now if somebody has already performed some activities, what is the outcome of that? Because at the end of the day, filing is one activity, but are you filing the right thing or not? How do you assess that?
Yeah.
So it's not about just giving one activity and leaving it there. When my consolidation team gives me a consolidated report, I have created my own set of analysis on those reports to
Mm.
see whether those reports are correct. So I have built my own ratio analysis. I look at the variance and I have a discussion with them. Give them a lot of other parameters on which to evaluate whether the outcome itself is correct. So it is not about the deadline alone, it's also about how correct the entire process is going. So when you get into that kind of an involvement, there is no question of missing deadlines.
Yeah, because an incident happened, so I had to pay
I
the
know.
penalties, for missing that, because it was a long-term relationship with the client, so I didn't wanted to lose the person, because of little money. So that's a note, take away from you, so that my team is also watching, and everybody, at some point in their time it happens, that they miss out. But if that is frequently happening, it shows a kind of disrespect or non-importance to the leadership. So that's when I get offended. Well, next, like, what is the biggest financial mistake you see the founders making? They're very zealous. They have a vision. They want to start a company and things like that. As a CFO, my wife is the CFO here in the company. So we often have, like conflicting conversations. When I tend to go aggressive, on the investment side, she is conservative on the budgeting side. So what kind of financial mistakes that you have seen founders doing, and do you have any advice, especially for the startup founders?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, cash is the key,
Yeah.
right? Second is, before you expand, you need to be doubly sure about your opportunity.
Mhm.
You cannot simply plan to expand or throw money without identifying the opportunity. So opportunity has to be sure.
Mm.
You can't say that I will figure out my market after I have invested big. You have to find your market first and then invest accordingly. The third is, as you grow, you cannot deny compliance and governance. Compliance and governance has to go hand in hand.
Mm.
These are the mistakes that people do. They don't have a periodic evaluation mechanism. They simply tend to go wild with cash flow, tend to ignore compliances. They say, okay, I've seen a lot of people say that I want to focus on business. I don't care. You figure out a way how to overcome
Mm.
the regulations.
Yeah.
Uh, I think when to some extent that may be still be possible because you can engage third party to manage your compliances, but the fundamental drive between uh, to have that proper governance built in and a proper review mechanism. Why do you think big companies do have a board, and within the board they have a lot of subcommittees like an audit committee, NRC, CSR committee. There are a lot of small committees that assist the board. Why do you think that structure itself exists?
Mm.
If it was not important, it wouldn't have existed, right? So the very fact that these governance mechanisms exist means that there is a need for a stricter governance. Otherwise, you may land up either paying a lot of penalties, which is again a drain of cash flow, and I think these are the common mistakes that owners and founders make. They need to have a proper cash flow monitoring mechanism,
Yeah.
opportunity monitoring mechanism, investment to match with the opportunities, and governance.
Good. So, if you have to sum up this little thing, what you just said, sir, so into three financial disciplines that every founder or an entrepreneur or a CEO, should follow, like what would be that? Just three. The
Yeah,
top.
so one is cash flow. There are no two ways about it.
Hmm.
Cash is the key. The second is opportunities. Your sales pipeline should be a constant focus area.
Hmm.
And third is governance and compliance. There is no way you can miss out on that. And there has to be this governance team has to completely agree with your opportunity and also monitor cash.
Sure. Sure. So, as a now coming to your health side, sir. So, as a CFO, I'm sure your schedule will be busy. But how do you ensure that you stay healthy? So, tell us something about your food, fitness, and sleep.
So I do sleep well, I eat well, but I'm conscious, a little diet conscious,
Mm,
in the sense I do avoid starchy stuff,
mm,
stuff like refined wheat.
mm.
I tend to avoid those, uh, and then a regular either I mean, when I take calls, I tend to take calls on my mobile and then walk around. So you don't feel the burden of walking at the same time. You utilize your time without. So that is one. And then, as and when I get time, uh, I do visit our gym.
Mm.
So that is taken care. So overall, as I said, most of the time I work from home, but on back-to-back calls, guiding the team, regular review mechanism, and all of that. And one thing I do practice is, you know, even if you have time, never sleep after a meal in the afternoon. I rather tend to uh, rest for some time just by reading something or watching something, and then when you have to. So, for example, on a Saturday or a Sunday, I would prefer to walk rather than or play a sport. You can play lawn tennis or table tennis or cricket or basketball, whatever. So, uh, yeah, indulge in sports.
Good, good.
The other thing is because of this schedule, the exposure to pollution is also very less.
Mm.
So I believe that will contribute in the long term.
What kind of sports you play?
I do play table tennis, lawn tennis,
Okay,
cricket.
that's nice. That's nice. How do you take time for your family and faith? How does it
So
help in your workplace?
yeah, so family we spend time. See, the my children are growing children, so whatever comes our way on the technology side is something that we discuss. I also discuss about. I mean, they're curious to now explore their own career, so we do have constant discussions on what the future is going to look like and what is it that they need to do to keep them relevant. I also keep guiding them in terms of the same answers I give you to say that exams and studies and a course or a certification is just an entry point. Develop your skills to learn and interpret things that will give you the ability to apply them when you get on to work. So those kind of discussions become a lot healthy discussions, and collectively the entire family participates in these kind of discussions. We keep doing. Recently, we uh, did a course on AI, um, and that was more to do with prompt engineering and understanding various AI products. So one person gets registered, and all of the rest also participates in the learning journey, giving exams and lot of stuff that is going on now. The data protection, the DPDP Act is coming in. So when I read that and when I interpret that, the family also tends to read and learn and give their own interpretation, etc. When the labor code has changed, and when I start interpreting them or reading them, obviously the family also joins to say, okay, what could be the impact, show us what is going to be the business impact, and what would you recommend to avoid this hitting your profit and loss account. What ideas would you recommend? Whether it is implemented or not by the organization is a different thing, but
Yeah,
the brainstorming session happens within home with the family.
good.
So that is how
They're
we.
also from finance background.
I mean, right now it is too early for them to decide, but
Yeah,
finance is the need for every human being, right? Whether it is a doctor or an engineer, it doesn't matter. Finance is finance. Finance touches everybody's life.
true.
So the family fully participates in these kind of discussions.
Very good. How does your faith or your inner belief system guide you in the workplace, especially as a CFO? When you have to take a decision between logic and ethics. So
Ethics first, always. There are no two
it
ways.
drive you there.
So it's more about being sincere, honest, uh, and ethical, with integrity, right? Even see, the way I think is, by the grace of God, I have an opportunity. When I have an opportunity, why should I misuse it? In fact, you never know by trying to cut a shortcut, or by trying to do something wrong, even if something is available in front of you. So, as an example, if somebody quotes a fees of say 1,000 rupees, I do tend to pay 5% extra or 10% extra. I don't want them to feel that they underquoted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, People talk of a lot of CSR activity, and people wait for those kind of opportunities or events to happen. Why can't we practice that in our day-to-day life?
Mm.
Even if you see some kind of a unethical opportunity, why would you indulge into that? It can only spoil your mental health eventually, right? So don't do anything today which can put you into a difficulty tomorrow. So rather have a peaceful life, and be honest.
True, true, sir. One final message, before we take up the questions from the audience, that you would like to give to the next generation of finance leaders, watching this, including me, my team and my wife also. So, any important, final message that you want to give to the finance leaders?
Stay relevant, right? Stay relevant. Watch for periodic changes and progresses.
Mm.
Uh, Read all those which are coming our way. Like I can see the board here: FPC, CPP, CPA, all of that.
Yeah.
It's more to do with learning those components, understanding the relevance of them, and technology is fast changing. So have the technology bent of mind,
Mm.
adopt technology,
Yeah.
and don't fear about AI and other stuff. There is going to be a sea change in the way technology evolves. So, you know, adopt that without fear and keep learning.
Well, good, sir. So that's powerful, students. Please note that, and also the entrepreneurs who are watching this. Sir, I'll take up some questions for you
Sure.
that I have from the stream. So, sir, I'm working in a finance domain. My question is, what finance roles will be most valuable in an AI first organization?
So, in an AI first organization, the transaction stuff will disappear. But strategy derived out of uh, the output, how do you interpret that and bring it as a value to the organization is what will remain. So you as a finance leader will have to start developing the art of picking the drivers of your business. First, understand your business very well.
Hmm. Okay. Another question: what advice would you give finance?
Teams that
Is the audio and
okay,
hmm. Repeat that, sir? Yeah, I'll just repeat the. What advice would you?
am I audible?
Perfect. The finance leaders who are just starting their AI journey. Able to hear me, sir?
So yes, don't fear AI. Learn like prompt engineering and so on. For example, today you can use Copilot that can help you in a lot of stuff in analysis, etc. So make use of the AI technology to your best, and in the meanwhile, keep sharpening in the area that you are into. For example, if you're doing taxation, use AI to learn more about the latest developments in taxation, reading periodic case laws, and staying relevant to whatever topic or branch within finance that you choose.
Okay. Okay. The next question is thank you, Krishnan sir, for sharing your experience. What should young professionals focus on in the next 2 to 3 years?
So, young professionals should improve their expertise. So, like I said, you can choose to be a generalist, but you should know the in depth knowledge of all branches, be it treasury, be it taxation, be it accounting, be it consolidation, uh, be it law. You need to know everything. You need to learn that. Uh, that is number one. Number two, as I said, take deep interest and be passionate about uh, all these areas, so that you develop yourself um, into a person who can absorb things faster and easier. After about 2 to 3 years, of course, depending upon how technology evolves, adopt technology, but then stay relevant to the business. See how you can bring in the value that you I mean the learnings that you had. How do you convert them into a value for business? The art of converting your learnings into value for business is what will make you a successful leader in the future.
Correct. Correct, sir. Good. So even the Gen Z is watching the live and they are very much inspired and motivated by your session, sir. So if there is a way that people have to reach out to you, I mean over LinkedIn or something, would you like to say your LinkedIn profile or something?
My LinkedIn profile is updated. Somebody can
Which,
type Krishnan Ramachandran
yeah,
from Sagility, and you know I am reachable on LinkedIn.
fine. Last question, sir. How important is data analytics for future accountants and CFOs?
Data analytics is the only thing that is important, right? Because at the end of the day, data and documentation, these are two important things. Actually, I didn't touch upon documentation earlier while I was speaking about governance mechanisms and controls. One very important thing is documentation. Leave evidence of what you do. That is the buzz in the governance world, right? Data is very, very important because garbage in is garbage out. It can be a killer if your data is incorrect.
Yeah.
So that is why I said, while you do have data, the first thing that you have to analyze is the data useful? Is the data correct?
Yeah.
Is the data relevant? And once you do that, you have to connect all the upstream data and downstream data that has got impact on your business, bring it down and identify it to the lowest thread that can connect the entire business across all sections, across all your stakeholders. That thread, that lowest thread, is something we call it as a cost center or a profit center. But then it can have many other tags relevant to it. But if you can connect that thread across, then your data becomes a lot more stronger, and the analytics that you draw from there becomes a lot more useful, because at the end of the day, you need real-time business drivers to tell you what is causing fluctuation in the outcome, right? It could be an improvement, or it could be, I mean, when the sales of an organization is increasing multifold, the guy who's managing inventory, it is very important for him to know how his sourcing is going to be impacted because of that. The other way around is also true, because if your sales doesn't happen and if your finished good inventory is pretty high, then that also is a concern for your inventory manager, right? Because his planning gets affected. In a company like that of ours, where we are headcount driven, the client tells us, okay, you can expect so much of volumes, and when we start planning our resources and then hiring headcounts, you suddenly do a bulk hiring, and then if the volumes don't come up, then obviously the entire thing goes for a toss. So we need real-time data to plan our activities and ensure that the entire uh, uh, business happens flawless. At the same time, while an inventory or a bench is acceptable, it is not acceptable beyond a point, because at the end of the day, that is a cost. So you need those kind of real-time insights to monitor business. There are a lot of shocks that come up externally. As an example, when the US announces some policy change, obviously it will have a lot of impact for us. Analyzing that on a real-time basis is important. So that is where again data comes into picture. So data analytics is something that will that's quite relevant and important. The way you analyze data will change upon the situation, and obviously make AI uh, use AI to the best in analyzing and interpreting data.
Okay. Fine, sir. Thank you very, very much. I think, we have come at the fag end of the session. Thank you. It went for 90 minutes. Sorry, I told you 45 to 60 minutes, but it went 90 minutes. And as of now, I see 2, 3, 4, 6 viewers online watching us, 2,346. So thank you very much, Krishnan sir, once again, for giving your time today, your journey, your honesty, and the clarity you brought into leadership, and especially the technology, AI, and life. Well, I think it'll stay with your audience for a long time. So we are truly grateful for your generosity and sharing your experience with us. We look forward to doing many more sessions with you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Nanda. It's my privilege.
And any feedback on these kind of sessions, sir? Do you think these sessions will really help the next generation?
Absolutely. Interactions, learning, discussions like this, learning from others' journey and experience is quite relevant. That's relevant in all fields and at all times. So, thank you once again for having me in your channel.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wish the viewers all the very best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, team. So that was Krishnan sir who joined us today. So such a joy, to interview these leaders. So to everyone watching today's conversation, it reminds us that success is not just about titles or the hours worked, but about values, learning, health, and purpose across every sphere of life. We talk about 7 spheres of life in our classes, right? So if this session added value to you, please share it with someone who needs clarity or inspiration in their career, because leaders bring that inspiration, bring that motivation. They not only tell you what, they also tell you why and how. So never miss an opportunity to learn from the leaders, not only in your company, but also outside the company. If you know of an industry leader or a titan who can be featured on this 40, the Tax Titan stock, write to me at asknanda@ileadtax.com or reach out to our team. We will be more than happy to interview them, get their profile, and then feature them on our channel. So this is Nanda Kumar signing off. Remember once again, titans are not born, they are built. Yeah. See you in the next episode of 40. Take care. Bye bye.